Juicy. It's snowing outside. It's Monday, February 3rd. I think it's the first day I'll be working out. I signed up for F45. I'll be doing it in the evening, but I'm just making my breakfast before work right now. So at the beginning of the year, I pull myself a tarot spread for the 12 months ahead, one card for each year. I wanted to do a reflection now of the card for February, which I pulled and was the Knight of Swords, and how this energy showed up for me in my life this month. Some general reflections and documentations of also just what I did this month. And I also want to dedicate this vlog to myself as a reminder that I am giving space to myself for the things that I care and love about, which includes spending time reflecting, documenting, introspecting, thinking deeply about my life, creating space to connect with myself, also giving myself a place where I can use my energy creatively, and most importantly, allowing myself to share and listen to myself. So for me, to start off, the Knight of Swords is about action. It's about taking action to move forward, overcoming obstacles, riding into the thick of things, and forward movement. It also incorporates the feeling of being brave and strong and not retreating when faced with difficulties or challenges. And for me, it's also about standing up for myself and at the same time balancing all of this action with patience and thoughtfulness. On a personal level, this month was really busy for me and a lot of new things were happening. When I say new, I mean that one of them is a new job. So I transitioned from having no schedule, no stable income back to a regular 9-to-5 in the corporate world, a new company, new coworkers, a new environment. It's also a shift for me to move from a big company to a small one, and it's really been a breath of fresh air, actually. I feel that my work at this company matters more because I can feel the direct contribution and also see the impact of my work. So I know that what I do actually matters, and because it's a small place, like if I believe in the company and I want to do well, then I will actually work harder. And it's been nice to feel that. I was also talking to a coaching client this morning, and I reflected with her on how when I was last laid off at the end of last year, I was, again in this place of unknown, but in hindsight, now that I have a job, that time off gave me a really great gift of recharge and time with myself and freedom. I knew that at that time, but I think it's always a bit scary when you're in it because you just don't really know how long it might last or if you will find something. So it has a bit of anxiety attached, but now that I am here looking back, I can see it fully for what it was. And in those 3 months off, I was able to dedicate so much time to building my website for my coaching, which you can check out in the link down below if you want to see a bit more on what that's about. And also, it was just time for me to take a break and recharge and have some space to think about what's really important for me. Of course, when I say it wasn't all great, but there was that anxiety there was a lot of me not knowing what the outcome was, and the only thing that I want to say about that period was that it did deepen my ability to trust in myself, to know that I am navigating the best that I can, and how to focus on myself and try to be more present in taking each day as it comes. And yeah, even though I have, a corporate job again, it's still really not forever. Like, you never know what's going to happen. I've been through 2 layoffs in the last 2 years now. Yeah, it's just nothing is really guaranteed, even if you just have an illusion of something that is more stable and maybe something that you can count on a bit more. But I think the lesson for me is always just to not be too attached to certainty. And on another note, I've also started to go back to the gym. I've always enjoyed group workout classes. I don't do so well by myself. And now that I have a bit more disposable income again, I want to focus on moving my body, feeling good in it, and just feeling more energized. I'm also paying a bit more attention to my finances. I've started to track my money just to know, being aware of where it's flowing in and out. I always had a rough idea, but I just want to be even more conscious of it. And yeah, so I've also, with that, started to cook a bit more to help with kind of, looking at the finances, balancing that a bit better, and also contributing to the healthier lifestyle. On the relationship side of things, I am continuing to spend quality time with my partner and continue to build on our relationship foundation. We've managed to make some really nice trips out to nature on the weekends. There was a lot of snow, well, not a lot, but more snow than I guess normal, which is not a lot of snow, right usually, but we had a little bit of snow on some of the weekends, and when it was snowing, we decided to visit a park which had these winter illumination lights on. It was absolutely beautiful in the white snow. There were so many cool illuminations up. I feel like the snow just also reflects the light a bit more, and it's more quiet because there's less people out for a walk. And the most amazing part was that this was completely free. I really enjoyed walking around and looking at, the lights coming through the snow, or just, how it's reflecting. I always love being in nature, and it really grounds me as well. My boyfriend also took me to my first snowshoeing experience. We went to the top of the mountain, and it was snowing, really big fluffy flakes on the top, so we were lucky with that, and it really felt like just winter wonderland everywhere I looked. I have to say, snowshoeing is pretty intense cardio. I thought it would be less, I don't know why, but I was pretty warm, and I think the snowshoes were just really heavy. I think I said it was like walking around with ankle weights up and down the hill in snow. But I would absolutely do it again. I really loved being surrounded by the snow-covered trees, and there's something really serene and peaceful about a winter landscape. We're going! Are you excited?
I'm excited.
How come you're so... Of course, it also wouldn't be me if I didn't go and hunt down some tasty eats. There were lots of tasty eats this week, including these amazing beef noodles at Torafuku. I also got to show my partner Okinawa soba for the first time. I lived in Okinawa for a couple of months during the pandemic, and I don't think I've ever seen Okinawa soba in Vancouver, and it was his first time experiencing it, so I took him there, and it was absolutely delicious. The broth was amazing, the meat was amazing, and it was in this very traditional little food cart, and they were playing the traditional Okinawan music, and I got to speak with the owner a little bit about how he's from Ishigaki, which is also the island that I spent some time in, and it was just a lovely experience, and I would absolutely go back. I also had a massive craving for Korean fried chicken at one point, so we had some on the Valentine's weekend, and we also made some home-cooked meals. I think we made our own dumplings, and also tried making Mexican food for the first time. I've been having a hankering for Mexican flavors ever since I came back from my trip last November, which I also made a vlog about. But yeah, I tried making huevos rancheros, which is a simple Mexican breakfast of eggs and salsa on top of tortillas. And also tried making some tacos with poblanos, and I don't think I cleaned it out properly because it was really, really spicy. My mouth was on fire, and yeah, it's unfortunate, but I think that was just because we didn't clean it properly, maybe. So to move on to some of the reflections around the card and also some of the challenges I've had this month, I actually had a lot of my old anxieties and fears come up this month, so that was a bit tough. A lot of it was just around my own expectations of myself and how, yeah, I'm really uncomfortable to deal with disappointment from other people. And then that battle of showing up for them versus showing up for myself authentically. And yeah, it kind of came through with work, which brought up situations for my old stuff to come up. One of my vulnerabilities has also always just been uncertainty and the unknown. I've struggled for a long time with uncertainty, and I will say that it's much better now, but it still comes up from time to time. It just pulls up this very primal fear in me, where I associate uncertainty with not being safe. And yeah, one of the remedies I try to soothe myself with is by controlling my environment, because when I control things, then I feel like I know what's going to happen, and therefore I can kind of plan and predict and maintain that safety. And that ties into the expectations. So like when I know what's expected, what to do, I feel like I need to do that to be safe. But you know, in work and also just in life in general, there's ample amounts of uncertainties. I feel like it just gets more and more every day sometimes. And especially in a new job, there's just a lot of new things everywhere, like new people, new systems, new workflows, new relationships. And you know, you're also given, you know, goals to achieve at work, so you want to try to do your best and hit them. And at the same time, there's so many new things moving, and I know that part of success in the whole process is to be able to deal with failures and learnings. But for some reason, like, failure has been really hard for me. Like, I get really afraid when I make mistakes, and I think it's because of the expectations that I put on myself. To make sure that things are going the way I want them to, or going the way that I know is good for me, these ideas of what's good at least, and then needing things to be kind of perfect and controlled, which creates that safe feeling. But because everything was new at work, I had so many moments where I just felt really nervous and scared. For example, to even just send like a simple email, I would like second guess or triple guess, or just worry so much about, what's going to happen, because I don't know what's going to happen. I've never sent a message to these people. I don't know how they're going to react, and that type of stuff. And this ties into like another big theme that I'm looking at for myself is, I think some of this actually ties into my dreams. So I've been working with my relationship with my dreams, or looking at my dreams as a place for learning for quite some time now. I often set an intention before I go to bed to try to recall my dreams, and it actually works pretty well. For the most part, a lot of my dreams are very anxiety fueled, and I recently felt like I had a dream where I feel like the message was about me not feeling heard, or not me being not understood. And how this ties in everything is again related to me looking at how to deal with people's expectations versus me allowing my own voice more, and to honor that part of me that I've kind of hid away for so long. I think part of the reason why I had this feeling of being not heard or not understood is because I didn't listen to my voice. Like, I actively pushed it down in lieu of, other voices that are louder. And I've listened for so long to these external voices, whether it's my parents, my peers, or just society at large kind of bombarding me with marketing and messages all day. It's just kind of drowned out my own thoughts. And I felt like for a long time I didn't even know what my own thoughts were. And as I started to hear them, then I had to kind of find the courage to actually let them be heard. And there was so much fear around that in terms of like, what if I'm wrong? What if I'm being judged? What if other people don't like it? And this is why I have a hard time sometimes speaking up for myself. And as I continue on this new path of kind of shedding my own patterns and my old fears, I'm learning to hear my own voice and allowing myself to, one, listen to myself, and then also to stand up for what my thoughts are and to honor that. It's terrifying, but slowly I do feel more joy and also just moments of relief. I think there's a deep part of me that's been waiting to be heard, and it's been there all along. And I want to build this new path, whether it's in my work or in my personal space, in my relationships, this new authentic voice that is who I really am. And overall, I tie this back into the card. Like, I felt the energy of that night of moving forward, taking action in the face of the unknown or in the face of setbacks, in my new beginnings at my life right now, whether it's through experimenting with this vlog and channel, my personal coaching work, or my corporate job, in my finances and my health, just in all aspects of my life. There's a lot of forward moving momentum in new ways. It's easier said than done, but I'm also learning to give myself more compassion on this journey, even in moments where I'm being really hard on myself, which is more often than not, but learning to even allow that, so that maybe it's okay that I am actually being hard on myself, because I would be hard on myself and it'd be hard that I'm being hard on myself, which is just like, you don't need like an extra layer on top. I want to also just take this time right now to acknowledge myself that, even for a few moments, I was kind to myself throughout this month, and that I really did have some really nice moments. At my new job, I felt like it's a much healthier culture and team for me, and I'm proud of myself for stepping into new things and facing new challenges and maybe dealing with some setbacks and failures, learning to not be so hard on myself. And I also do appreciate, the joy that does come from like also honoring my body and my health and spending time with people that I care about. And in the backdrop of all of this action, and all this doing and charging ahead, I was also reminded this month to just find a balance to all of this doing, to enjoy the moments as they are, exactly where I am. And so just wanted to dedicate this vlog as well to remember that. I think that's all I wanted to share for this month. And who knows what the next month will bring. But at least for now, I want to say thank you to myself for taking the time out to reflect on this and to listen. And if you're also out there listening, thank you for sharing your time with me.